Hello, everybody.
Hello.
We are live. Happy Tuesday. So if you're new to our streams, we go live Tuesdays and Wednesdays for a period of time to talk about food labels, sort of ingredients in food.
Yeah.
This is something I think that is getting just more relevant in our life because there's lots of stuff in our foods that we buy from the grocery store that are probably not the best things to eat. And these are, of course, things that are in our own house. So we're kind of going live and going over what's in each thing. So we're learning as we're going. And hopefully some of you can learn more about what's in your foods as well. And then if you're at the grocery store and you're like, thinking, like, grab the food labels, look at the food labels. You can kind of keep in mind some of the ingredients that we're going over and what they cause and help make good choices on food and what we eat and stuff like that. So this also got prompted when I started realizing that my bread from the grocery store was not molding. So that's kind of what started this whole thing. And we had like my rabbit hole of what's in our food. And then came up with the idea to do a video where we're going over food labels. So today we're talking about granola bars. And it's specific, of course, we just kind of go with the most, we don't ever like try to throw brands under the bus, but we just get the ones that we consume. Or I don't, but the kids do.
Sometimes.
The kids do and stuff like that. Our kids do. And just kind of look at, because there's a lot of labels, like this specific label, the first thing in big white bold, or I guess it's black with white around it, bold letters, it says whole grain. So people see that and they're like, ooh, that's probably good for you. Let's get that. So we're just going to go over the ingredients that are in these and talk about them and learn about them. And this specific one is chocolate chip granola bar.
Chocolate chip, yeah.
Chocolate chip granola bar.
So some of the ingredients will be specific to the chocolate chips.
Right. And then always as food labels, if you're not familiar with how they work, the ingredient list starts with the most ingredient. Like if you have the granola bar, the first ingredient will be the most thing and then goes to the least thing on that list. So the most is the first ingredient, the least is the last ingredient on the list. I think with granola bars today as well, we're going to talk a little bit about the nutritional label on there as well. Something else to kind of keep track of. Something that I had always done was keeping track of the nutritional label on the nutrition label on this on them. So I'm like my over here and over there, and so my brain's not staying with it. So anyway, if you're jumping in, say hi.
Hi, and if you see our eyes darting up or to the side or just our heads, we have screen over here, screen over there. We can't see comments on the phone because it's too small, so we have to on a screen up here so we can see the comments up there.
Casted up there, so.
And
ready to talk about some granola bars. And I have my phone. I'm Googling the information. If we don't know what an ingredient is, I look it up. So then we know for either next time or all this stuff.
Yeah, for the most part, we come in this cold. We don't know what's on the ingredient list.
Yeah, we don't know what's on there.
Not only that, but we don't research beforehand. We don't come in here with a research thing. Like, hey, this is what.
Yeah, we don't do a ton of research beforehand.
Maybe eventually we'll probably do it, but right now we're
with ingredient labels. We're coming in cold. When it comes to like some of the bigger stuff, we start talking about like an individual item itself. We'll come in with research and all that kind of stuff. But for now, here it is. Here's our first ingredient on granola bars. Granola.
And in parentheses, whole grain oats, brown sugar, brown rice crisp. And then in the brown rice crisp, there's another parentheses, whole grain brown rice flour, sugar, and salt.
Wow.
And then going back to the original parentheses,
granola,
whole grain wheat, soybean oil, coconut, whole wheat flour, baking soda, baking soda, soy lecithin, non-fat, dry milk.
Wow, that's the first ingredient. Okay, so breaking down some of those ingredients, in the first ingredient, of course, if they have granola, they took a mix of stuff, and you make granola with sugar, and honestly, granola is made with sugar and oats. So it's just kind of funny that there's all this other stuff. So whole grain oats, brown sugar, brown rice crisp. So the brown rice crisp, those are those little crispy ricey things. If you've ever had a granola bar, they're kind of those little crisp rice things. So within that crisp rice thing, there's whole grain brown rice flour, which a lot of the times in flours, there's conditioners and stuff like that. And then salt, whole grain. Okay, so soybean oil. We've talked a little bit about soybean oil. Well, I feel like we're always talking about soy. We've talked a little bit about soybean oil. We always talk about soybean oil because it's in everything. And it's not great for you because soy is a GMO. They're all GMO from here in America. They're sprayed with pesticides. They the pesticides are bad, obviously, but they're just sprayed with pesticides. They're just bad for you. They use the inner bean of the soybean, the outer husk of the soybean. So it's just not great. So then you take a soybean, it's already not super great for you, and you turn it into an oil, which in order to do that, you have to use a whole bunch of it to press it down. And so it concentrates all that soy into an oil. So it's not something, it's very, very inflammatory, has not great fats for you. A lot of those omega-6s, is it omega-6 or omega-3? Hold on. No, I think it's omega-6. Let me double check. One of the omegas is inflammatory and the other one is not. So omega soybean omega. Yeah, so it contains both, but it's higher in omega-6. So the omega-3 fats, this is kind of a geek moment for a second, but the omega-3 fats help balance out the omega-6s. So if you have a fat that's really high in omega-6, it's very inflammatory. It has it causes a lot of inflammation. So that's another thing about soybean oil.
And soy is disruptive to the endocrine system of males, particularly.
Endocrine system.
Yeah, it will.
And your endocrine system is like your hormones.
Yeah, hormones. It'll. I'm just saying. Essentially, we're not going to get into the details, but essentially, it'll drop testosterone levels in men.
Yeah. Not great.
Yeah.
Stay away from that stuff. Okay, so then there's that. Coconut, whole wheat flour, baking soda, soy lecithin. So they use soy lecithin generally for a binder, to bind certain things in there. Soy lecithin is another. Again, we have soy. Just adding more of that soy in there. Non-fat dry milk.
Go ahead and say hi when you jump on.
When there's a dry milk, there's processes that they put it through to get it down to that level. So yeah, that's from the brown rice crisps, I believe. So that's one of the pieces in the granola, or maybe not. No. Oh no, the granola, it continues more. But anyway, so the granola had the whole grain oats, brown sugar, brown rice crisp. The brown rice crisp was made from whole grain brown rice, sugar, and salt, which isn't terrible, but it's not the best. And then whole grain wheat, soybean oil, coconut, whole wheat baking soda. Okay, anyway, so that's like the first ingredient. So that's a lot of stuff in just the first ingredient, which is super interesting. So next ingredient.
Yeah, I gotta find the next ingredient. I gotta go down.
It's like the chocolate
chips.
Right
there. Yeah, the semi-sweet chocolate
semi-sweet
chips.
chocolate chips. Parentheses.
And then, so this is what's in the semi-sweet chocolate chips.
Yes.
Sugar. Mm-hmm. So that's the first thing in the chocolate chip is sugar.
It's sugar.
Chocolate liqueur. There's more sugar than chocolate liqueur in the chocolate chip.
Chocolate liqueur?
Yeah.
Do they even use chocolate?
Yeah. Well, cocoa butter.
Oh.
Soy lecithin. Vanilla extract.
Where's the chocolate? Chocolate liqueur is not chocolate. What in the name of the world? Wow, there's not even chocolate in the chocolate chips in this chocolate chip granola bar. Holy cow. Okay, so the first ingredient, he's like so sad right now.
That's the best part of these granola bars is the chocolate chips.
He's so sad. There's not even chocolate in the chocolate chips. Chocolate liqueur is not chocolate. And so chocolate liqueur is like, it's an alcohol. I mean, not that it's like, that's what liqueurs are, right? They're alcohol. So that's great. So first ingredient in the chocolate chips is sugar, then chocolate liqueur. Wow, that's really bad. Okay, so there's that.
Yeah, and they got cocoa butter.
Cocoa butter. Actually, I want to look up cocoa butter because I don't know much about cocoa butter yet.
Let's look it up.
Cocoa butter. Okay, so cocoa butter is a lightly yellow edible vegetable fat extracted from cocoa beans, which is so interesting. How do they make them brown? Oh, probably the liqueur. It's used in skincare and chocolate making due to its moisturizing
and firming properties.
Yeah, so it's pretty high in saturated fat. Hold on. For saturated.
I don't like eating anything that you also put on your skin.
You don't want to put things on your skin. Okay, so cocoa butter is rich in saturated fat, which saturated fat isn't necessarily bad.
No.
You just have to look at the omegas in the saturated fat. So 57 to 64% total fat, primarily as a
stearic acid.
Stearic acid and palmitic acid with beneficial monosaturated. Oh, acid. So many words. This is hard. I need to do more research on cocoa butter, apparently. I know it's definitely good. Okay, so, wow, I feel like I should know. This polymono. Moderation is key. Moderation, it's really, so of course, if you know things about macronutrients, fat has the highest caloric, the highest calories per gram. So 1 gram of fat has 9 calories. 1 gram of carb has 4 calories. 1 gram of protein has 4 calories. So fat is that's why it's really high calories, because the fat has more calories per gram. So, of course, when you're using fats, that's a thing. But I want to see, let's go omega. Okay, so 60%. Hold on.
What are you reading here?
I'm trying to figure out the omegas in cocoa butter. Omega with similar amounts. So it's rich in saturated fats and monosaturated fats, which is omega-9, with similar amount of polysaturated fats and omega-6, polyunsaturated fats. So it's omega-6. So there's traces of omega-3, which we talked about. Omega-3 was the anti-inflammatory. The omega-6 in this is really high. It's the inflammatory fat. It's very high in inflammation. That's what I was trying to find out, if it was high in omega-6s, and it is.
Crazy. Yeah. All right. So that was the cocoa butter.
Hold on. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe I said that wrong. Cocoa butter is healthy fats, including a small but... Well, now it's giving me all these different things. Hold on. Omega. Let's do this. I want to do cocoa butter fat, omega 3, 6, 9. Okay. Maybe I was wrong. If I'm wrong, that's okay. I don't mind. Cocoa butter is a primarily fat rich in saturated fats and unsaturated fats, omega-9.
Unsaturated omega-9, yeah.
With a small amount of
poly.
I'm having breathing issues.
Fats.
Mainly omega-6 and virtually no omega-3. So it's high in omega-9. Significant amount of oleic acid. I'm forgetting all the different kinds of fats right now. I used to remember all this stuff like very, very, very well. Omega-9, like those in olive oil. Okay, so omega-9s are good for you. So I guess that cocoa butter is not terrible for you. It's high in omega-9, so it's good for you. Okay. I'm worried that I said omega-3 wrong, but I read something there and omega-3 is good. Yes. It's just the 6 is bad.
Omega-3s are good.
Okay, good.
That's why they tell you to take fish oil.
Oh, right. So the 3s and the 9s are good. The 6s are bad.
Yeah. Essentially, there's
moderation.
Right. There's it's a ratio.
Right.
Depends on your ratio of how much you're intaking of all of it. Next ingredient on here is corn syrup.
Corn syrup, yay! More corn. So the corn, we know corn is sprayed with glyphosate, and they're made to they're GMO'd, so the glyphosate is doesn't kill the corn, and they can spray it up until the day they harvest the corn. So now they took because it wasn't syrup, or was it an oil?
It's syrup.
Syrup, yeah. So they concentrated it. Corn syrup's also really high in the glycemic index, so it's really, really sweet. So they use it because it's extra sweet, so it makes it cheaper. So some corn syrup.
Great. All right, next ingredient: brown rice crisp.
Would they have this in there twice?
And in parentheses, whole grain brown rice flour, sugar, and salt.
Yeah, so they use it twice. They put it in the granola and then they put it in again.
Yeah.
So they're like the crispy brown rice things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like it's probably that right there is actually a way it's filler, because those are crispy and airy. So it's a filler. It's to make it cheaper, because it's more expensive to use just actual oats than to crisp some rice using some flour, salt, and sugar, and then just have it be a filler of air. And then yeah.
Ooh, next ingredient, I don't know what this is. Invert sugar. Oh, I don't know what this. I have no idea.
I have no idea either. Invert.
Yeah.
Sugar.
Yeah.
Sugar.
What's it say?
Syrup?
Nope, just invert sugar.
Invert sugar. Inverted. Well, it gave me inverted sugared syrup. Invert sugar. Okay. Invert sugar is a liquid sweetener made by breaking down regular table sugar into a mix of glucose and fructose. So they took sugar and broke it down via things. It is not inherently bad, but like all added sugars, it should be consumed in moderation. Let's go see this, how it's made, key properties. So they do that because it prevents crystallization, retains moisture, sweetener. It's about 20 to 25% sweeter than sucrose. So less is needed. So they've basically made almost like they've just made another form of corn syrup, because or high fructose corn syrup. I wonder if that's kind of what they're like, let's call this invert sugar instead of high fructose corn syrup. Liquid sweetener by breaking down sucrose into glucose and fructose, which is what high fructose corn syrup is. But this doesn't tell you the ratio.
Yeah.
I don't trust it. Okay, so inverted sugar, is it fructose or high? Oh wait, sugar, how much fructose to glucose? Ratio, I guess I should put ratio. So it says it's a 50-50. So high fructose corn syrup is higher. But
okay, yeah.
It's still, so it's like a better version of high fructose corn syrup. So basically, but they've taken sugar and they did some sort of magician work and then made it into fake sugar.
Just so you know, most sugar comes from sugar beets. Not sugar cane.
Not sugar cane.
Comes from sugar beets. Sugar beets are they're beets, so they're, what do you call them? Grown in the ground.
The beets. They're oh my gosh.
Oh
they're
man. Brain farts.
Tuber. No,
yeah.
Not a. I mean, this is like a.
Anyways, yeah.
They're grown in the ground.
Hey, moron. That's what I feel like right now.
I know.
All right.
So that's what invert sugar is.
Invert sugar. And then the next ingredient is sugar.
Lovely. We'll just put some sugar and more sugar in there, but that's not including the sugar at the top of the ingredient too, where we put it in all the sugar.
And then, oh man, corn syrup solids.
Corn syrup solids. Well, they took some corn syrup and then they crystallized.
Yeah. Sugar on top of sugar on top of sugar.
Oh my goodness gracious. Corn syrup is also a very high glycemic load. I think we've already even said that on this live.
This is wild because that's sugar on top of sugar on top of sugar. I'm going to tell you, total sugars in one bar, 7 grams.
Is 7 grams.
And that includes added sugars. So that's what it's saying, is there's only 7 grams. I doubt that.
Oh, I bet they probably don't have to include all those numbers.
Yeah.
They don't have to include all those things in it. So, yeah.
That's wild. All right. Next, glycerin. That's it. Glycerin. I don't know glycerin by itself. We've looked at
glycerin in food. So let's do glycerin in food. Acts as a sweetener. So look, more sugar,
more
thickener and preservative found in processed items like candies, gums, bars, energy bars, baked goods, drinks, condiments. Okay, so
these things are garbage.
So glycerin I'm curious.
All right, man.
Do
we're gonna have to just throw this box away.
Can't
give this to our kids.
Include glycerin as a sugar on a nutrition label? Supplement facts. No, they don't. Yeah. They don't have to include it in the supplement facts, so they don't have to include it in the added sugars. Nope.
Yeah, this is crazy.
They don't have to do that. That is, hidden sugars. That's what I mean. When you hear the words hidden things like hidden sugars, hidden fats, that is what that is. That's the example of a hidden sugar in there. That's crazy. They don't have to add glycerin as a sugar in the supplement facts.
Okay.
But it's used for sweetener.
And then next ingredient, soybean oil.
Soybean oil, back again to that soybean, the concentrated, not good stuff for you. It causes inflammation. It's bad for your gut. Anything that causes inflammation is bad for your gut.
Yeah. And then the rest of the ingredients have 2% or less of it.
Okay.
Calcium carbonate.
I think that we've gone over that one. That one's like it's a preservative, but it doesn't do most of the preservatives that they have on these labels. Most of the ones we've looked up, and that's kind of one of them, I'm pretty sure, all cause inflammation. They all cause inflammation. They cause gut issues. So
next is sorbitol.
Sorbitol. So sorbitol is another sweetener, but
the sweetener. But is it?
I think it's sorbitol. A naturally occurring sugar alcohol. Yeah. Found in fruits like apples, peaches.
The TOL again means alcohol. It's an alcohol.
Polytheritic alcohol with about half the sweetness of sucrose. So sorbitol occurs. Why do they have sorbitol in there? Like they're not gonna put just like, if it comes from fruit, there's no fruit on that list at all. Why are they just adding sorbitol? Right? Like if it comes from fruit, why?
I don't know.
Add sorbitol to food. Added as a low-calorie sugar substitute. They're like, here, let's make it even sweeter. On top of all that sugar, we're going to add in some fake sugar.
Add in more sugar.
Especially in sugar-free gums, blah, blah, blah.
So that they can keep down the amount of calories.
Prevents food from drying out while offering a mild cooling. Sure. Okay, we're going to go sorbitol. is like if it's in like fruits, that's a naturally occurring thing. But if they're GI, gas, bloating, stomach cramps, diarrhea. That's why like fruit, if you eat too much fruit, you get all of that. So like they're gonna put it in our food. Weird. Okay. Hi, Melody.
Oh, hello, Melody.
We're going over granola bars.
Yeah.
Josh is real sad now. He liked these granola bars.
I didn't ever eat them all that much, just because, but
they were the ones he liked.
Yeah. Next ingredient is salt.
Okay.
And then again, soy lecithin.
More soy. And soy and sugar. This is the soy sugar bar.
Yeah. Molasses.
Okay.
Tocopherols to preserve freshness.
I think we looked at that last time.
Yeah.
It preserves fresh. It's a preservative.
It's a preservative. And then the last ingredient, natural flavor.
Okay, so something super interesting about this. When they add natural flavors, I watched something last night, and in this case, like natural flavors. What would be a natural flavor in a granola bar? Honey, oats, in this case, chocolate. But like there's no chocolate in it. So shouldn't the natural it's just funny that it's like they're saying like natural flavors, but like shouldn't that be the oats, honey, and chocolate? Like why are we adding in natural flavors? The natural flavors are just what is that called? Just chemicals. They're just chemicals that you don't want to consume. Why? Shouldn't the natural flavor be oats, honey, and chocolate? Shouldn't it just come from those things that we're consuming? No.
Yeah.
I'd be really curious if the ones that have actual fruit in them actually have fruit. Or if like in this case, we thought there was chocolate in there, but there was no chocolate. Just chocolate liqueur. Yep. Which, I mean, I guess you have to take chocolate to make chocolate liqueur, but like, why would you use chocolate liqueur instead? Like, there's no chocolate. There's like nothing. It's not even like cocoa beans. It's just, no. So yeah, that was, that ingredient list. And so, eventually I think what we could do is start like coming up with like ingredients. So the thing that we're also kind of pointing out this stuff for as well, when you're in the grocery store and you're reading food labels and you're looking at the back of it and you're seeing stuff like this, just put it down, don't get it. Find the ingredient. You can look at probably 25 different ingredients or different things. Find the label that has the least amount of ingredients and weird stuff on it, because there's some out there. If you want a healthier option, you just have to look at the ingredient labels. And I'm going to probably say it's not going to probably be a mainline brand. It's probably not going to be cheap. It's not going to be, the store brand. It's not going to be this brand. It's not going to be that brand. It's going to be a brand that we're like, what is this? And even be careful for the things that say organic and natural and stuff like that, because there's not very many standards when it comes to organic and natural, that they have to actually abide by to make that organic or natural. So yeah, find the ingredient labels. You just have to read those ingredient labels and find ones that has the least amount. Like to make granola, it's oats, honey, and butter. Basically, that's what granola can be. And then you can add other things in there. But
other things like fruits,
right? Yeah, fruits, nuts.
Not other things like what they're throwing in.
Yeah, like liqueur chocolate chips, chocolate liqueur chocolate chips, right? So, yeah. The other thing I'm going to point out about this nutrition label is that in one granola bar, there's 100 calories. And so having 7 of those grams, 7 times 4 is what?
28.
28 of those calories coming from sugar. That is what percentage of the calories? 28% of the calories come, sorry, I just looked to 100. 28 of those calories come from sugar. 28% of those calories come from sugar in your granola bar. And so it says 8 grams of whole grains. Well, what does that actually mean?
9
There's
grams.
only, oh, it says 9. There's only 1 gram of fiber. So like they're saying it's 8 grams. Like there's these really misleading things that like you see on labels like that like make you think, oh, that's great, I should get that because my kids need whole grains and that's good for them. But you have to really look at that nutrition label as well, and the macronutrients and how much sugar is getting from that, because there should not be that much. Like it shouldn't be a quarter of the bar calories coming from sugar. Like it should not. So like if anything,
and
there
that's
should
what they
be
legally have to put on. Like we mentioned earlier, there's a bunch of hidden
yeah,
sugars.
there's hidden sugars
which
in
would
there.
increase the calorie count, but they don't have to put that on there.
Yeah, they don't have to put it on there. Yes, correct.
Here's personally the only time that I would eat these is if I were training for a marathon.
Right.
If I was on a bicycle going hundreds of miles.
Mm-hmm.
If I were
needed that high sugar.
And you need that high sugar content really quick.
Yeah.
So that you can go do something.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, there's no reason to be eating these.
Because I mean, where do these predominantly get eaten at?
School.
Yes. And what are kids doing at school? Sitting. For the most part, they're sitting. And so, like, they're not eating them and going and running for 30 minutes. They're eating them and then sitting at their desk. And like, that's also a problem, because your body, if you do not utilize sugar, it stores as fat very quickly, stores as body fat really, really fast. And it's like if your liver, so it stores in your liver and then it will store in your body fat. And it's, I mean, in our culture, it's really hard to deplete your liver of those sugar. The sugar is there for if you're someone who's like low blood sugar, the liver will release sugar or glycogen to increase your blood sugar. And so if you're like, we just don't need that. We don't need that level of sugar to be eating and then sitting and then saying that it's healthy. So it's just, so granola bars, make them yourself, basically. Also, like that's the other thing that really comes down to. And I know, it's hard now. We've had grocery stores around for so long, and it's been, it's very easy to run to the store and grab something like that, as opposed to making it yourself. But, so does diabetes. Diabetes can make it so you're always having to go to the doctors or whatever it is. So like, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that like, it's like but also I don't know if that made sense of what I was talking about. I don't know how to like kind of connect those dots. What I was trying to say, but if you just want to make sure you're paying attention to what you're eating, and those hidden sugars are not good, and they're all over that. So
yeah, less
ingredients in your granola bars and make them yourself.
And then for adults, if you want a snack, like if you think about it, most adults, you're sitting at your job during the day. If you're at your job, jobs that you walk more, like nursing, even that, this is way more than someone just walking at their job would need. This is the only time, like I said, the only time that this would be needed is if you're a high-end athlete or you're doing something high-end in terms of like a survival.
That level of sugar,
where your body needs it quick for athletic purposes or survival. Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, and then other options
and
for a snack.
And like you said, it stores as fat. So immediately you eat that within, I don't know, very short time, hours, your body starts storing it as fat. And you think you're eating it just as a snack and it's healthy for you.
Yeah,
and right. It's freaking horrible.
He's like over here like gosh, I'm trying to think. Other options you could do instead of this is
Cliff bars.
Making it yourself. And we'd have to look at the ingredient list, Melody. We could totally do one of those.
Some Cliff bars.
Yeah, we could totally do that.
It's been years since I've had a
Cliff bar. Me too. I think it depends also just on like why you're eating it and for what you're eating it. And sometimes, like, of course, in cases where like like if you're super sick, a lot of sugar, because you're super sick, your body does deplete of that glycogen level in your liver. So you do need a reboot boost of it if it's gone. And that can be caused from a lot of different things. I mean, being sick and, fever eats through a lot of sugars.
Yeah, we'll look at the Cliff Bars.
Like
Let's do
that.
Cliff
Yeah,
Bars.
we could do Cliff Bars.
I want to
next.
do Cliff Bars. My gut says that they
might have stuff
similar,
in them.
very similar to this, because when they first came out, they were advertised to high-end athletes as.
Oh, they were. Oh, okay. Yeah.
As a snack
as
that
like
you need to
snack
get.
to like energy.
Yeah.
Snack. Yeah, that's a good point. Really, you want to look for things that are low sugar in comparison to the whole label. So it just depends on your level of athleticism, but you have to be careful too. Bars are really hard because you can still find things like Quest bars, which are really low glycemic. However, they're also filled with a lot of icky stuff. I used to eat those a lot, and then they changed it, and the recipe started adding in some really icky stuff that really, really messed up my stomach. And so, there's things like that where even though sometimes those lower glycemic things are still filled with other stuff, it's hard to find like clean things like that. But
yeah, and then the other thing is once you start eating it, then your body starts craving
it. Yeah.
And then it's hard to stop eating it.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Your body wants and craves those sugars and stuff. So yeah, and it's got the fake sugars. That one has like the fake sweeteners in it too. The other one. So yeah, there's definitely there's so many bars out there that we could probably do a whole bunch of different ones on, where we could break down maybe a couple different varieties or something like that on maybe the next tomorrow or something. Cause we're doing a live tomorrow. We don't know what we're doing yet, but we could do bar day. So, so that's the facts and stuff on these granola bars. But again, just finding things that are the most clean, less ingredients, in comparison to the whole, look out for those hidden sugars. That's another really scary part about that is, it says these sugars, this much sugar is in it, yet there's probably added, there's hidden sugars. There's sugars in there that are still sugars that they don't have to include in the nutrition labels. And that in itself is kind of terrifying. It's kind of scary stuff that they can do that. Like they did that with, what was it? It was this, and what was the other thing? It no, it was just this so far. Cause that's the same thing with maltodextrin. They don't have to include it as a sugar also.
Yeah.
So maltodextrin is another hidden sugar in there. So it's just some funny, it's crazy. Once you start getting into this stuff, it's like, oh my gosh. So, but honey, I'm kind of curious about honey too, because I know honey is a better sweetener for you, of course, because it's natural. And then, but it's so funny how, I used to, back in the day, but before they were creating all these crazy sugars, back in the day, sugar was sugar, right? Like it didn't matter if you ate this kind of sugar or that kind of sugar. But now it's really not the case. There's all these weird sugars that our bodies don't recognize, and it causes all these problems. And so eating honey, that's a natural sugar. Our body's like, yeah. Eating fruit, our body's like, yeah, that also has added vitamins and micro in honey. If you get, as long as you get raw honey anyway, the micro, I don't remember the name of it. It's like good bacterias are in honey. So you get the added benefits of those things, but all those fake sugars that are all those processed sugars are not great. So anyway, so yep. So that was this.
That's
so we'll be live. We're doing this 2 days a week. Now we stream here on Facebook, 2 different spots on Facebook. We're on Instagram and we're on YouTube. So, and if you want to find us on there, we're posting things on those places as well and streaming in those spots. So it's a new thing we're trying. So we're doing it 2 days a week, Tuesday and Wednesdays, and it's breaking down food labels. And, our plan is to get into a whole bunch of other stuff in the future, having this be kind of like a little mini podcast and go from there. So
comment, like, subscribe, do all the whichever platform you want to
comment,
do all
like,
those things.
subscribe, share, all those
Comment.
things.
We'd like to
follow.
Yeah, please comment, and we can
comment. Yes, yeah.
We'll read those comments, reply to them.
Yes, yes. So thank you guys. Appreciate you guys hopping in. Thanks so much. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you. Bye.
Oops.